Hello friends, welcome to my Steampunk series. I am working on two steampunk journals, so I figured I would just create a little series and do a variety of things. Everything from working on ephemera to painting with coffee, creating a embellished bingo card that's going to end up in one of the journals. So I appreciate you stopping by and checking out my video. Today we are working on the bingo card. This card was given to me in Happy Mail. Thank you so much to the friend that sent this to me. I truly appreciate it. So I have a small black doily. Now I got this doily probably at Joann Fabrics and probably in the baking section, believe it or not. I got a pack of them. I usually buy everything on clearance, so they probably would have only cost me a few dollars. And I thought black, it just has it makes such a bold statement. So I like having these on hand. I don't use them often, but when I do, I enjoy using them. So I'm just trying to figure out placement before I start gluing anything down. I'm moving some papers around and seeing what looks nice. So these photos that I have were sent to me by my friend Soleil at Soleil and Craft. She had sent me a package of goodies about a year ago, and I tend to hang on to things that she sends me. But I have recently been using them, and as I am all of my stash. So I think I like this photo of this little girl. I think she's holding her little baby doll. And I think that's going to end up on this bingo card. Now, this is a steampunk series, so we are going for a steampunk flavor here. Now, little girl doesn't necessarily look steampunk, but the journal that I'm working on now, which is one that I'm making with the kit that I created, which by the way is available in my Etsy shop. My kit has a little bit of a feminine flair to it, and the journal has actually a very vintagey steampunk feeling to it. So it's got a little bit of femininity. It's got a very vintage vibe. I'm using some authentic vintage ephemera that I have, and I'm loving it. I'm actually loving using it. I've finally given myself permission to use my authentic vintage ephemera. So the journal's coming together quite nicely. So putting this little girl holding her baby doll, though we don't typically think of steampunk when we look at something like that, believe me when I tell you, it's all going to come together and work really nicely in the journal. So the journal definitely has a vintage, feminine steampunk feeling, but not overly feminine, but slightly feminine. So I'm going to go ahead and get the photo onto the black doily. And then you see that piece of ephemera that I have on the left of the screen. That is, I do believe that's a piece from the kit that I created. And that's going to end up on the bingo card as well. And I want to let you know that I printed that piece out on white paper, either white paper or white cardstock. Actually, it looks like cardstock to me. It's pretty firm. But I painted over it with coffee, and I am going to put out a video on painting our ephemera with coffee because I had never thought to do it before, but in certain journals you don't really want bright white sticking out, and I thought, you know what, why don't I just grab a paintbrush and work on some pieces. So that's what I did. So I'm going to go ahead and share that with you in a future video. To give it a little bit more of an aged look, I am inking the edges of this piece before I glue it down. I like the fact that the bingo card is a cream color and brown, so it already, even though it's a newer card, it has an old look to it, which is great. Except for up in the upper right hand corner, you'll see, I don't know, it says something, but it sort of takes the nostalgic feel away from it. So once we're done gluing this piece down, we are going to go ahead and try to cover up that corner. I have a scrap piece of lace laying around on my table, so I think that'll be perfect. Gonna grab my hot glue gun, put a little dab of hot glue up there. I'm sort of spreading it around so it's not super thick, and that way I can press the lace down. I can't leave the lace as is, it's just too plain. And I don't use my brads very often, so I think I'm definitely going to use a brad today. Now, I just showed you a little piece of old jewelry, and I wanted to use that. But then as I'm looking through the backs of the brads, I can see that they're way too big to fit through the hole that's in that piece of jewelry. So I'm going to have to use that piece of jewelry on something else, because I definitely am going to use a brad today. So on the decorative piece that I put on the card with the clocks and the dragonfly and all that, that has some blue on it. So I'm going to use the blue brad. I think that's going to pull everything together really nicely. I'm going to use my pokey tool that was made and given to me by my friend Pam at Pamela's Creations, and I'm going to pop a hole right in here. That way my brad should easily go through. I'm going to show you the finished card in just a second. I want to tell you how much I appreciate you being here. I hope you will enjoy this steampunk series. If you're into steampunk or even new to steampunk, I hope that you will pick up some helpful tips along the way. I am happy with the way that this turned out. I think it's going to look great in one of the journals. Thanks for watching. See you soon.